Um, you identify most as a type 9.
Mhm.
What is it about that type 9 energy that made you maybe finally realize, okay, this is my type?
It was a lot of that, the need for peace, just conflict avoidance at any and all cost, just laying low, doing what uh, I had a lot of people pleasing tendencies,
Okay.
and I always thought that I was a helper. In fact, I even typed as a helper before I really engaged with the Enneagram. But when I really learned about the motivations, which the Enneagram helps you determine or see, of what was driving that was more of a, okay, whatever we need to do to keep the peace here, I'll just jump in and do that. It was just, as a kid looking back, you could often find me in a corner reading a book. I love to escape, and like there's a lot of that escapism that I could see
Mm.
now too, of the dreamer.
Yes. Okay. And I'm curious because I know that you are not the only one who, as they are going along their typing journey, sometimes can get stuck between a 9 and a 2. We were talking before we hit record. 9 and 6s sometimes struggle. Am I this or that? And then there's a lot of 2 and 9s. Am I this or that? So I'm curious. You had mentioned people pleasing, and then really understanding the motivations. Is there anything else that you would add to some of just that process or your realization that might be helpful for someone else really struggling between those 2?
Um, so twos and nines do have a lot in common, but some of the differences might be, how we show up in groups. Like if you kind of want to fade to the background, the quintessential, I know we get a lot of kind of ribbing about is, ask us where we want to go to dinner.
Yeah.
And, we get the I don't care. And a lot of other people don't get that and they don't believe or trust it. But when a nine says it, like literally, we don't care.
Mm, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Well, I'm curious too, just to get a little bit more context and to learn a little bit more about you. Would you be willing to share what you do and then how you have seen kind of your own self awareness or the type 9 be a strength in the work that you do?
yes. So it has been definitely a journey, and I have really engaged with the Enneagram in the last few years. Like I said, I have been familiar with it, and just like with a lot of I just saw it as another personality test. And I'm a real estate agent by trade or realtor, and we love personality tests
Yeah.
like the DISC and the Myers Briggs, all the things. And so um, I actually found myself burning the candle at both ends, having no
Mm,
boundaries, the whole people pleasing, and in the world of real estate, where and it's anybody who has been anywhere, the market has been just crazy the last few years. So I actually found myself at the end of myself, and I actually decided to take a break before the pandemic and really evaluate a lot of my own habits and what I was doing, because I something had to go. I was either going to have to give up my career or change some of my unhealthy habits. And in that process, I actually decided to take a break from drinking. I was a regular, just like a normal, what people would consider a normal drinker, just having a glass of Chardonnay at the end of an evening to wind down. But I decided to take a break from that. And then through that process, I was reintroduced to the Enneagram. And then I could totally see that I was using alcohol. And once I realized that I was a type 9, the other thing that I realized was that nines have this natural ability to self narcotize. So I was compounding my own tendencies. Like I didn't need to be doing that. It was like kryptonite for me, where other people might be able to have because they would probably look at my level of drinking and going, that's not a problem. But for me, it was. So if any other nines are listening
Mm,
to this and you even have what is a mild, use of alcohol, social drinking, a little bit to take the edge off, what nines don't realize is that we already have that as sort of our superpower. And if we're not
yeah.
careful, it can really do the opposite for us. And so, and we already struggle with energy levels. Well, physical energy. We are tremendous. That's another kind of misnomer. And feel free to interrupt me anytime.
No,
But
this is
the
great.
energy level of nines, that was another one of those telltale signs when I was engaging with the Enneagram. I was like, oh, yeah, my energy is totally matches a nine. Sometimes I would love to be a seven. I have a lot of seven-ish tendencies. I'm in that positive triad. So, but definitely my energy just gets spent constantly scanning the environment of seeing what's needed for harmony, for peace. So, a lot of our energy is spent mentally and emotionally, and even in resisting the doing and the
Yeah.
not doing, and just holding things still and steady. And
Yeah.
sometimes we can get real busy doing dumb stuff that we shouldn't be, or not necessarily dumb
Yeah.
stuff, but stuff that we avoid or might procrastinate on the thing that needs to be done, and you can find us over here doing lots of other busy work.
Right, the busy work. Yes, yes. So you took a break from real estate and then you now are in the coaching world, correct?
I am. So, in that process of putting down the wine and getting healthy, I joined a few different online communities and just really engaged with the world of self help. And for years, I had been listening to a lot of podcasts and, that kind of thing. But once I was actually involved in groups, I was getting a lot of reach outs for, hey, can you help me? Or, wow, you really have a lot of insight. And so, I realized I had a lot of encouragement then to maybe even take a look at coaching. And the real estate world is actually really coach friendly and has been for a long time, in the entrepreneurs in general, because that's a lonely road. And so you need a lot of coaching sometimes to help you stay on the path and not get sucked down by self doubt and all the challenges of running your own business and just the special demands on real estate. So I did become a coach in the sober community, and then I went to school and got my health and life coaching certification. And I do have my own program now that I call Own It. And I think
Okay.
that's actually a lot of what the Enneagram helps you do is look in the mirror. It holds a mirror up to you and doesn't let you get away with some stuff. So and so, yeah, so I use it a lot in my personal coaching and then even coaching, whether it's real estate agents or just people that want to take a break from alcohol or change another healthy habit. So I do start with that practical approach of a habit change a lot of times for that start. And if people are open to the Enneagram, I wouldn't call myself specifically an Enneagram coach, but if people are open to it, then we're going to use it because I think it's like Google Translator. We can shortcut a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about how you use it with your clients or if you do. And just, yeah, the kind of the benefits of understanding that, but Google Translator is a great analogy for that. I'm
Yeah.
curious, I want to go back to the energy level point that you made because I know that is a stereotype and also something that I hear about other nines real life experiences about kind of that sloth passion, the
Hmm.
napping, the low energy, which is absolutely, to your point, a myth that all nines like to nap because some are very busy. It just may not
Yeah.
always be on the right thing. So, as a life coach, health coach, still doing real estate, and then just being, a partner, a mother, just a human being, there's a lot going on. How do you manage kind of, that energy level, and being productive so that you're working on the right things? Are there any tips that you could share for fellow nines?
Oh gosh, yes. Well, outside of what I just talked about, even with the alcohol, even if you're a light or normal use out there, I would say evaluate that if that's a regular part of your life. Um, and sleep. Sleep is so important, but that's part of one of the side effects of alcohol is it robs you of regular sleep, even if you're only drinking a couple on the weekends. So the impact that that can have, but honoring, you know, part of what the Enneagram really and I'm married to a type one, and I have his permission to talk about this, but he's literally, we are the yin and the yang. He's a one with a nine wing, and I'm a nine with a one wing. But I was doing what a lot of nines do, where we kind of will try to merge to keep peace. So I was trying to live life as a one and constantly even beating myself up for not being able to do things the way that he would do things or keep the house the way that he might want, like everything, so the Enneagram is beautiful because it gives you permission, I think, or it gave me permission to get out of that comparison game. Like God designed us all so differently, and then to be able to even see, oh wow, he doesn't even see the world the way I do, or neither does my sister over here. We have a really fun family. There's three of us, and I have a seven sister with an eight wing, and then a four sister. So we cover the whole,
Whole
between the
thing,
three of
yeah.
us, and it's interesting to see that dynamic play and probably how that developed. But the energy, just being able to give myself permission just to be me. It was like I could just relax and breathe, and that I wasn't alone. Like there's like nines are a pretty common number. And just to know that I wasn't alone, there was nothing wrong with me. I just used energy differently. So to even see that,
Mm.
um, and I'll start giving myself permission to do things in my way, and that it wasn't a wrong way. It was just and then as I even engaged with it further and learned about the wings, and then I have a lot of that eight energy available to me. So so the Enneagram is such a beautiful growth tool when you engage with it. And I one of the language I use, it turned my stumbling blocks into stepping stones.
Oh, so
And
good.